Hello and welcome to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. My name is Silver, and today's going to be kind of a special episode. Our wonderful co-host, Chaotically, was busy this week and couldn't make it to recording, so we're doing a Silver solo special. We are going to be talking about some lesser-known monsters. The first one being the Whiffenpoof, who also happens to go by Gilligaloo. And another one is a Gilligaloo bird. It also happens to go by the same name, but is a bird. These creatures don't really have any physical descriptions, besides them just being large. The Gilligaloo bird is only described by its eggs, and the location it lays its eggs. So the Gilligaloo happens to lay perfectly square eggs. They do this in order so that the eggs do not roll off the cliff in which they lay them. Another difference between its eggs and normal bird eggs is that they hatch in the cold. It's said that when loggers found the nest of the Gilligaloo, they would rate it for the eggs, hard boil them, then use their eggs as dice so they can play their games. That was pretty much it on that one. The Whiffenpoof, though, is a little more to that than there is to Gilligaloo. The Whiffenpoof was a fish. It is known to be very large and to have very juicy flesh. It can only be found in Idaho and only in perfectly circular lakes. But it is said that if you do see one, try and catch it right away, as it tastes very good. It's kind of tricky to catch a Whiffenpoof, as in you got to wait till the lake is frozen, go out on it, cut a perfectly square hole in the lake, and put the stinkiest cheese you can on top of the edge of the hole. So the Whiffenpoof will smell the cheese from underwater and come up out of the hole to get it. They say it prefers the smell of Stilton cheese, Brie, Lindenkrais, or Limburger cheese. Once it comes out of the hole, you're supposed to spit tobacco juice into its eye. This will make the creature angry and puff up to where its round body cannot get out of the hole. You just simply take it back to land. That's pretty much it for the story-wise and how to catch it. It's a little bit more behind the Whiffenpoof. A couple different other things called a Whiffenpoof. Like Yale University, they have a collegiate cappella singing group that got established in 1909, current. And they call themselves the Whiffenpoofs. And there's also a old Boy Scout training trick they used that they called Whiffenpoof. It's a training tool more than a trick, where they put a bunch of nails in a wood and drag it through the woods. And the more as a tool for tracking to help the newer scouts learn to track. The more nails they put in, the easier. The least nails, the harder. The term Whiffenpoof came about as also being known for an imaginary animal for hunters, or for locals to kind of trick tourists that are fishing on their lakes into trying to catch one, but them only being regular trout. As for mayhem wise, it's just a large fish, but if you have a bunch of people out trying to catch it, that'd be a lot of cheese being bought up and a lot of tobacco. Imagine anybody would be mad though if you spit tobacco juice in their eye. Shall do one more creature as well. Third and final creature is going to be the Squonk. It is a creature that is very ugly, as described. Can be found in the hemlock forest of northern Pennsylvania. Squonk's stories originate all the way back to the 19th century. and is said to have been invented by the Pennsylvania lumber industry, the lumberjacks that were there. The legend holds that the creature's skin is ill-fitting, being covered with warts, and that because of it is ashamed of its appearance, it hides from plain sight and spends most of its time weeping. Hunters who have tried catching the squonk found that it's almost impossible to catch him because as soon as you see him or he sees you, he cries so much that he completely dissolves his entire bodies into a puddle of tears and bubbles. There's once a man named J.P. Wentling that supposedly coaxed the creature into the bag. By the time he made it back home, the bag was completely soaked with the liquid remains of the sad animal. It is even said that it does not come out during the full moon, because if it sees its own reflection in like water, it will also dissolve itself then. It is said to resemble a pig covered in warts, with cauliflower ear, waxy hair, tusks that are yellow and crooked, and its eyes weep continuously. Sometimes it has 4 legs, sometimes it only has 3.5. Its misery is said to be contagious, so it also makes you cry until it cries itself to death. Kind of a sad creature. Doesn't need to cry itself, but it does, which makes it way. I definitely don't think this would be mayhem unless the bloggers or the people who see it drives himself crazy by trying to catch one. There's also a certain ritual you can do to try and that will summon the squonk to you, but then it'll just dissolve itself into tears afterwards, from what I read. Yeah, not really sure how many of these there would be out there, but I guess if you find just a random puddle in the forest, that might have been a squonk there that seen you, seen some reflection. Probably going to be it for today's little short episode. I'll post pictures of all these animals, creatures, cryptids on the Discord. Thank you again all for listening. We also just started a Patreon. When we have 2 new Patreon subscribed at the shoutout tier. That would be Mondi and Thor, who happen to play in the D&D games that I run. If you're looking to follow the Patreon, which is not necessary but is really appreciated, you will also get special Discord roles. The highest tier gets a shout out on Chaotically Stream, and you also get the shout out here on the podcast. And one gets you a special Discord role. Well, if you're looking to catch up with us more, please check out our Twitter and our Discord, which are in the links below. Trying to keep things updated and moving and pictures of the creatures up. And we'd be more than happy to talk monsters with you. We also play D&D on there. But yeah, please come by, say hi. Have a good night, everyone.